They didn't post a job listing. There was no advertisement, no recruitment fair, no cold call. What there was, 6 months ago, though you didn't know it at the time, was a form. A standard government security clearance application for a mid-level contractor position. You filled it out carefully, truthfully. You listed your addresses, your relationships, your travel history, and your finances. You answered the supplementary questions about drug use, foreign contacts, and moments of significant stress. You were honest because you had nothing to hide, and honesty seemed like the correct approach. That was your first assessment. You passed. Level 1, the selection. The man across the table from you is not impressive. That's the first thing you notice. He has the manner of someone who works in insurance, careful, unhurried, slightly bored. He slides a folder across the table without looking up. Your photo is on the first page. Underneath it, a number. Not yours. You've never seen this number before. That's your designation, he says. You can memorize it or write it down. If you write it down, destroy the paper. The room has no window. The building has a name that refers to something administrative. The hallways are carpeted in a color that was chosen specifically to be forgettable. Everything here has been designed to produce a particular impression that nothing important happens in this place. He explains the polygraph. It's not a lie detector, as movies say, and no one who uses it thinks so. He explains it as what it actually is, a stress measurement tool, a pressure instrument. It doesn't catch lies. It catches the physiological response to concealment, which is different from lying, and which you cannot fully control, and which they will use to map the precise architecture of your discomfort. They are not trying to find out if you'll lie. They already know you will. Everyone does. They are finding out what you'll lie about, which tells them where to look, and what you'll be willing to do. We don't recruit people with nothing to hide, he says. We recruit people with the right things to hide. He mentions his kids, twice, their names once each. He will never mention them again, and years from now, in a moment you won't see coming, you will think about the way he said those names. Flat. Level 2, the making. By week 3, you've stopped flinching when the lights go out at 2 a.m. What they are doing, technically, is training you. What they are actually doing is finding out which parts of you survive pressure and which parts don't, and then removing the parts that don't, not by destroying them, but by making them irrelevant. Sleep deprivation, repetition, the cover story you've built and rebuilt until you can deliver it in 4 languages with a mild fever while someone screams questions at you from 3 feet away. This task, they tell you, is the easy part. The surveillance detection route takes you through a city, not where you live, not where you're from, over 4 hours, 12 stops. Specific behaviors at each stop are designed to surface a tale without revealing that you're looking. At the debrief, your instructor doesn't give you feedback. He says, "The man you were following this afternoon, he made you after 12 minutes. He kept walking because we told him to." He pauses. Think about what that means before tomorrow. What it means is this: you were confident. Confidence is a tell. There is a woman in your cohort who is slightly better than you at everything. She consistently outperforms you in every metric, but not significantly. You track her progress without meaning to. Near the end of the training cycle, she isn't at breakfast. Her bunk is cleared before the morning session. No explanation, no name mentioned, no record of her presence that you can locate. You learn 2 things from this experience. First, completion is not guaranteed. Second, the organization has been doing this work long enough that the removal of a person from a space can be accomplished so cleanly that the space itself seems to forget them. You graduate. That word is never used. What happens is you are handed an envelope
a passport with your photograph and a name that is not yours, and a departure time. Your handler, a different one now, someone you haven't met, will make contact in 72 hours. Until then, you are already the person in the passport. That is the instruction. You look at the photograph. You have your face. You have someone else's name. You will learn to think of this not as deception, but as precision. You are the most accurate version of this person that exists because you built them from scratch.
Level 3. The field. He shakes your hand the way men shake hands in that city. Both hands, long, as he means it. He does mean it. His name is in your file. He is a senior official in a ministry that manages infrastructure contracts, the kind of ministry that touches everything without appearing to touch anything. He has a wife, a daughter, a habit of arriving 10 minutes early to every meeting, and a belief, which you will come to understand is genuine, that relationships matter more than transactions. He is, by every measure you have developed for assessing sources, an ideal target. He is also genuinely one of the warmest people you've met in this work. At your first lunch, he tells a joke about his bureaucracy. It isn't a good joke, but his delight in it is real, and you laugh. Not the operational laugh, the one you've practiced, but something that arrives before you can manage it. You make a note of the incident later. The note says, "Monitor for effective bleed." What it means is, you liked him. What it means is, this is already a problem. Your handler's message arrives 3 weeks in. The relationship has progressed. It is time to begin the collection. You are to find a way to ask your contact for specific documentation, internal procurement data, access levels he cannot provide through official channels, things that, if discovered, would end his career and potentially...
Level 4. The handler. The brief says he's a risk. The brief always says that when they've already decided. You are managing a network now. 5 sources across 3 countries, different motivations, different operational profiles, different shelf lives. 1 believes in the cause. 2 need the money in ways that have made them permanent. 1 is operating out of ideology, and ideology, your first handler told you years ago, is the least stable fuel. And 1, the mid-level official in the Eastern Ministry, is starting to unravel. The stress is showing in the report language. Late check-ins, inconsistent tradecraft, a reference in his last communication to drinking more than usual. You flag it to headquarters. The response is 3 words: maintain operational tempo. You maintain operational tempo. 3 weeks later, he is arrested.
Level 5. The deniable. You are in a city you cannot name, running an operation that does not officially exist, toward an objective described to you only in terms of what it should prevent. The authorization was verbal. The oversight is a phone number you have memorized and will never use unless something goes catastrophically wrong, at which point the phone number will not be enough. You work with assets whose real names you have not been given and are not meant to request. You are trusted here precisely because you have learned not to ask which lines you're crossing. At this level, the lines are not relevant. What is relevant is the outcome. You're accessing a historical file, routine, procedural, when you find the paragraph. Page 9, subsection secondary outcomes. You read it once. Your brain routes around the meaning. You read it again. The meaning arrives. An earlier operation, one you contributed to 3 years ago from a different position. The outcome column contains a civilian casualty. 1. The notation beside it, acceptable collateral, within operational parameters. The paperwork is correct. The language is correct. No one falsified anything. The correct words were used to say something that the word acceptable was never designed to carry. You sit with this for a long time. That evening, you call someone from before.
A friend who still knows your real name, who believes you work in policy analysis, who has no idea and will never have any idea. You don't say anything important. You listen to them describe a commute, a difficult coworker, a restaurant.
Level 6. The Ghost. There is a version of this story where you saved something. A country, a program, a decision that moved differently because of the pressure you applied in a quiet room. The victories at this level are structural. They appear as the absence of events. A crisis that was never a crisis. An outcome that looked, from the outside, like nothing changed. You were the hand that wasn't visible. This is what you were built for, and you are very good at it, and no one will ever know. And that was always the arrangement. You appear in no directory, no org chart, no official communication that can be subpoenaed, released, or read 20 years from now by someone trying to understand what happened. The distance between you and any specific action is sufficient that no line can be drawn. This is by design. You are not a spy. You are infrastructure. You are the reason the word deniable exists. A junior analyst asks you at the end of a routine session how you got into this work. She has a notepad. She is ready to write something down. You consider the question. You could tell her about the folder with the number that wasn't yours. The woman who disappeared from training was never mentioned again. The birthday dinner with the cake and the drawing of a horse. The paragraph on page 9. The phone call to someone who still knows your name.